Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Wade Watches. I'm Wade, and today I'm going to be reviewing Evil Dead Rise, directed by Lee Cronin. And I don't have much to say here, and that's mainly because this is actually my first ever Evil Dead movie that I have watched. This is my introduction to the franchise. I am not seeing the iconic first three movies starring Bruce Campbell, haven't seen the reboot that they did in like 2012, 2013, haven't seen Ash versus the Evil Dead. This is my first ever introduction to this franchise, so I can only judge it solely based on the movie that I just saw, like the individual movie, and it's pretty substandard horror movie. And I don't mind that at all. Actually, I am a big fan of simple horror stories when they are done well and executed, in an effective manner that doesn't make me cringe. And thankfully, Evil Dead Rise pulls that off. It's your typical cursed object unleashes horror upon an unsuspecting family. It's another one of those claustrophobic stories that takes place entirely in a house that becomes haunted, or in this case, an apartment building. And that's pretty much it. Nothing out of the extraordinary happens, in my opinion, but I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It has some really effective imagery and gore. It does thank God, thank the movie gods that this movie didn't rely on a bunch of cheap jump scares every 2 minutes, especially those fake out ones where it's like, oh, it's just me, it's just your friend. Like, I hate that. And there isn't much of that in this movie. It has some pretty solid buildups to some pretty effective scares, and there was even a twinge of dark humor in there, which I hear just from like word of mouth is one of the staples of the Evil Dead franchise. It can be a dark comedy at times. um and I like that. I enjoyed that as well. Only standouts for me, again, I thought the gore was well done. There's some pretty chilling imagery, particularly some pretty unsettling illustrations in, I think it's called like the Book of the Dead or something, like this cursed book that one of the kids in this family takes, even though he's told not to. He still brings it back and starts messing with it, and all hell breaks loose. But anyway, it it shows the illustrations when he's messing with it, and it's in the end credits, and it kind of made the hairs on my back stand up, actually. And that's not a complaint that the illustrations were like the creepiest thing in this movie. That's to it's a compliment, because yeah, man, I don't know what it is, but creepy paintings and like creepy images actually get me, because I think like more is left to the imagination than like videos or movies and stuff. But like creepy images really get to me, man, and this is no exception. So I that's another thing to its compliment. And the standout performance would definitely be Alyssa Sutherland as the mom. You probably know what happens if you watch the trailers, but I don't like going into too much plot in my videos. So all I'll say is that she had to display some range, and I thought she did a pretty good job. And yeah, that's about all I have to say about Evil Dead Rise. Not a groundbreaking horror movie by any stretch of the imagination, but a thoroughly entertaining one from start to finish. I give it a 7 out of 10, and I cannot wait to check out the Evil Dead movies one of these days. This was a very good introduction to the franchise because it wasn't a crappy movie, and I'm curious to see how the other movies in the franchise are. I've heard a lot of good things about them, and I want to see if I'll enjoy them. So again, 7 out of 10 for Evil Dead Rise. This has been another edition of Wade Watches, and I'll see you all next time. Peace.